Well, it's 5 a.m. here, and the usual traffic about. Papang's just been out tying his carabao or moving his carabao for a feed. You can't see it, it's behind the trees there. It was just over here tied at our land. And then I just heard my sister-in-law, my favourite sister-in-law, Ivana, yelling and running down the road over there, and I could realise there was a carabao running down the road in front of her. Must have got away from her. He's stopped running now. I don't know if you guys can see her walking across. Over there, she's got the rope again and got the carabao. It's typical here. Everyone owns a carabao. Funnily enough, I found it interesting. Carabaos here are registered like cars. They're pretty big business here. They sell for like 40,000 pesos each. So people breeding them, and people often have carabaos here and keep them in case they pass away to pay for their funeral expenses. They'll sell them off, or the family will sell the carabaos and pay for their funeral. Big, I mean, obviously they're the most used work animal here in the Philippines, the carabao. They're used for pulling sleds, for pulling trailers, for ploughing rice fields, even just riding. People ride them. Horses, yeah, Papang has a couple of horses which he rides, but other people who can't afford to have horses and stuff that just have carabao will actually ride their carabao. So big business here is the carabao, registered. So if they get stolen, and yes, they do get stolen, like a car gets stolen in the West. So, and as I say, 5 a.m. in the morning, you'll hear the sound of wooden stakes being hammered into the ground all over the place, where people are tethering their carabao to feed for the morning. Then they'll shift them again later. Then they go and get them at night, bring them back home. It's just par for the course here in the Philippines. It's Carabao County out here in the province. Oh, sweating like the proverbial pig out here. I'm drenched from this afternoon sun. Just trying to plumb this tank up, and I've had to go from this size, I've got to go down to this size. So I've started reducing down here. I need to put a joiner in so I can remove it if I need to do any maintenance, but I need to pipe this down and around the corner. Always make sure you remove the burrs and stuff off these before you plumb them together. Don't touch.
Water.
Don't touch.
It's water. Mommy.
Don't touch, buddy.
So it's 10 minutes to 4, so it's beer o'clock, and I'm sweating like a pig. I'm just going to leave it at that for tonight and start again in the morning. Just got to run that, the joiner, and then a few more reducers, the pump over here, and then we can pump up to this, and we can pump to here and pump over to the kitchen. So short distance. It's only a small Seaflow marine pump, and it's 12 volt. I've already got the wires connected up to the solar here, so we can wire it up, and hopefully it's enough to just pump up that few feet to the bathroom, and 10-12 feet to the kitchen, so we have water coming in. That's the main thing. So it's only a temporary setup. In the future, so that's what we're at the moment. We just need to get this water plumbed in, so we're not using the tank around there, and get the screen door moved to the outside, get the veranda roof installed, and maybe a bit of painting. I don't know if I'm going to have time to stay here for some painting, but a little bit of paint slapped on the inside would be really nice. See how we go. Stay with us. Oh, just finished a shower and poured myself an Embassy and Coke. So I'm just going to have that with a cancer stick and sit outside where it's a little bit cooler. The girls have been busy in here trying to tidy stuff up and get rid of all the excess product that we can't fit in here. So we're getting there slowly but surely, day by day, we're removing some of the junk. We've still got this stuff out here that's got to go over to Tessa's parents. We took 1 carload of stuff over already. Yeah, it's just tiny house. When you've moved from a 2-bedroom apartment that had built-in wardrobes and kitchen cabinets to a place that has none of it, it's a little difficult to find. No, I haven't even started on the whiskey and coke yet. A little difficult to find enough space to fit everything in a tiny house. So Tess is just taking Kyle over to Mumung and Papung's over to see Lola and Lolo at the moment. And Ati mates, my sister-in-law is over here taking care of Caleb, and I'm just sitting here in the shade, and I believe we're going to start getting this bamboo fence up on Wednesday, 2 days from now. Today's Monday, so I think we're going to start getting that put up around the yard here, try and get the place looking a little bit more like a home, like someone lives here. So that's me for the day. Did a bit of backfill with around the hollow blocks underneath the water tank, and put a few bricks down to try and stop any erosion for now, so it stays as stable as it can be. I've filled the 1,000-litre water tank up completely, so it's got all the weight on top of it, so it'll settle. A little bit of rain would be good into the ground underneath it, so it settles it down a little. Make sure it's going to stay level. Yeah, started getting the plumbing supplies. Got my reducers and stuff in, as you saw. Maybe 2 more reducers down to the orange pipe, that size. And it's because the pump, the size that fits on the pump is like a garden hose. The pump's tiny. And I don't even know if it's going to be big enough, successful enough to pump the water in for a shower, and you know, for the basin in the bathroom and the kitchen sink, I'm sure it'll be enough, even if it's a slow flow of water. That's life. And to fill the toilet, if it takes a little longer to fill, that's life. As long as there's enough pressure there to get the shower head working well enough that you can have a shower, I'll be happy. But that remains to be seen. We'll see what happens when we wire it all up. So hopefully we'll get that done tomorrow, and then, as I said, we can start getting the bamboo fence up on Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
So I've got plenty of leftover pipe, so I set a pipe up for Kyle this morning so he can put his school bus and his Jeeps in the pipe. It's kept him occupied anyway. Amazing. Doesn't matter whether you lived in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. If you take the electronic devices off the kids, they'll still play with the same old toys that we played with. They'll get a tire and a stick and roll it around. If I make a paper aeroplane for the kids, they'll play with the paper aeroplanes. If you take the electronics away, they'll go back to the same old things that we used to do. People think the kids rely on electronic devices today. They only rely on electronic devices because you give them electronic devices and allow them too many hours on those devices every day. My advice is, give the kids a set time, an hour or 2 hours each day in the afternoon, after school, whatever, on their electronic devices, and make them get outside and play. It's much healthier for the kids. It crashed. Well, it's 2 days and we haven't had any fires. And then I just came outside now. It's just after 6 p.m. in the evening, just having a smoke. Sat down and I could see the flames up on the hill. So he's been at it again. The worst of it is, I mean, while there's green grass and stuff around, it doesn't spread too far and too fast. But as I said, 2 days ago, it burned all the bamboo along the waterfront or water edge over the hill from us. So anyone looking to use bamboo for building, and I can actually just see there's more smoke. You guys might not be able to see that, but right through, just through the gap above the roof, of the pig pen through the trees. I can see smoke coming up off the hill over there, so he's set another 2 at the moment. And the worst of it is when he burns people's properties, it often destroys all their banana trees, their coconuts, all their livelihood. Like when I say he or she, I'm just guessing that it's a he. But yeah, every summer here, April and May, every year, he gets out into the forest and just starts lighting up the dry grass. And sometimes they're small fires, sometimes they're huge and they burn acres and acres or hectares and hectares and burn for days, literally. Just a total menace. Someone needs to figure out who it is and break his fingers to start with, and then if he keeps going, break his hands and his arms. Well, it's 7:20 in the morning. Tess is down there feeding and watering Darcel the pig, and Papang has been over here yesterday and again today. He's putting in some posts to get our fence done, our little yard fence out of the bamboo. So he's been busy doing that, and I'm just messing around the back at the water tank with some plumbing. And I got some water leaking up there at the pump, so I better sort that out first too, because we don't have unlimited water supply here. We need to be careful with how much water we use. Yeah, there's a well there and it does refill over time, but if you drain it down to the bottom, you got to wait for it to seep back in. So that's not good, losing water like that. The main problem is there's no joiners for this hard plastic black pipe that we've got running down to the pig pen and running down to the house. We need to get a more permanent setup and run some pipe into the ground and all the way down there, because this was always just a temporary setup, but it's just wedged in there and it's leaking every time the hose gets moved. The kids run around and walk on the pipe here. Motorbikes coming in from the bottom end drive over it down at the Tunkal, it gets moved. It's not the ideal situation, but for now it's working. But that's our free fence posts, of course, because they're all coming off the land again, as everything always has here. So this will be the yard section here around the house, and then from the gate there we're going to go out on an angle across past the hollow blocks and down past the Indian mango tree at the bottom, and then back across behind the septic and then back up the back of the house here. So that's where we're at the moment. Still got to get our roof on our veranda there, of course, and get our CR door, our toilet door, hung, and get our screen door moved outside, and get some painting done. But we're basically very close to finished. So in the near future, we're going to do a costing video, because a lot of people have been asking me, how much did the solar setup cost you? How much have you spent on the house? Blah, blah, blah. So I thought we'll just do a costing video and give you an idea on what we've spent. I'm just going to do a total costing on what we've spent since we've been here on, fencing the land, the access road, digging the well, bricking up the well, roofing, building the pig pen, or what they call Tunkal here, building the house, setting up the solar. I'll just do an overall cost of everything so people know just how cheap it can be to set up here, because a lot of people are saying, oh, you can't live there on an Aussie pension, or you can live there on an Aussie pension. Again, everyone's individual and it depends on your situation, where you live, what your lifestyle is. If you're going to live in the city, rent an apartment that's 30,000 pesos a month and go out to bars drinking, and then you're going to struggle just as you will anywhere on an Aussie pension. But if you've got your own bit of land and you build your own place, so you've got no rent, no electricity, no water bills, then it's a piece of cake. So, and then there's the in-between. If you're going to live in a smaller city area or provincial area and rent something that's only 10,000 pesos per month, and you're not going to be going out drinking all the time, chasing girls, if you've got a woman already, you're just buying your fruits and vegetables and meats and stuff and cooking and staying home most of the time, just going out to beaches and stuff which are free, or going places where it doesn't cost you a lot of money for your entertainment, then it's still quite easy to do. So I always say the same thing to people when they ask you, is it possible? It's individual. Every single person is different. It depends on how many of you there are, where you're living, and what your lifestyle is. So there's a lot to factor into whether you can live or not. And you're the only one that knows what your lifestyle's like. So think before you decide to come over here and make a leap as to what your future lifestyle is going to be. Whether you can change that lifestyle from what it is now, or whether you want to continue the same lifestyle. That's the only advice I can really give to anyone who's thinking about coming here to live in the Philippines. And finally this morning I just removed the screen door from here because it was useful there when we didn't have a kitchen, but now it's here, so we needed it outside to stop those flies and mosquitoes coming in. I'm just getting my slippers on, my shoes. So we needed a screen door outside, so happy with that. We've got screens on all our windows as well as grills. No grill here yet, but we'll get there. But at least we've got a screen door on the place now. And today, Papang has been working on our bamboo fencing. That would be about 7 feet, I suppose. It's look, it's not difficult if you bring a machete or something to cut through, but it deters the average person from trying to get in. A few rungs of barbed wire there and some bamboo fencing. So this is what he's been doing today. That's the gate into the driveway down there. And we put a little clothesline up out the back. So it's starting to look like someone lives here now. And I've just been out here this afternoon. The morning the sun is just beaming in here and it's just so hot to do anything. In the afternoon the sun's up here, but if I get down in behind the tank here I can get a little shaded area. So none of this is joined up properly yet. I've just been laying out where the pipes are going to go so we can get into that's for the shower there. Then we're going to come across and drop down for the toilet and bidet inlet there. Then we're going to come around here that's for the basin, the inlet there. And then we're going to go across for the kitchen. And none of it is at the same height, so it's all a pain in the ass. But you know, we'll get some. It's as long as we can plumb this up and run this little Seaflow pump down here, and we've got 1,000 litres in the tank there. And I just threw up a CCTV camera in the kitchen today, and I'll probably order one for out here on the veranda once the veranda roof's done, so they connect up through the Starlink and I can see them from anywhere. So even when I'm back in Australia, I'll get an alarm if someone's sneaking around out here. The camera will pick them up and set an alarm off, and it'll alert me. And I can actually, the cameras themselves have an alarm on them, so I can actually set it so the alarm goes off. If it sights a person walking around, it'll start screaming, and hopefully it's enough to deter the average thief when they hear the alarm going off and the camera flashing, and they'll take off. So we're doing our little bit for security as much as we can. And yeah, as I said, it's starting to look like someone actually lives here. Kyle has been not spending a lot of time with his granddad much at all, and today's the first time he said he wanted to go and help Lolo fencing. And he's always more in the way than helping, but instead of helping Daddy today, he's been over there helping Lolo. Filthy dirty and doing what boys do, just getting dirty and enjoying himself. But But he's been helping his Lolo. So Kyle's helping build the fence.